The Dauntless. "Pardon me, madam," Sir Philip says, passing them by, and Jadza freezes. Then she starts moving quickly and dips around to watch him leave. "What's wrong?" Modan asks. "I can't really figure him out. Of all the information on the Undaunted, information about that man is always the most obviously obfuscated, consistent, and confusing. How alliterative." "No, it wasn't. 2 O's and 2 C's for last few words. With an and in there," she argues. "Do little joining words like that count?" "Conjunctions count," she states. "Right conjunction. It was on the tip of my tongue." "You're running a psychological operation against the entire galaxy, successfully, and you're that bad at lying," she demands, and he shrugs. "We all have our gifts," he notes. "I'm not one of the professional liars, though, so they just tell me what I'm not allowed to talk about and let me wander off to be a big, confusing distraction. It works." "It shouldn't, though. Logically, you should be the weak link. If he had the information, he would be, but he doesn't. He knows he doesn't, so he's another massive hardpoint against infiltration attempts. He's too interesting to ignore, too earnest to discredit, and too uniform to be used against us," Sir Philip says calmly. Jadza suppresses the urge to jump, but it's not easy. "You are very quiet on those hard-bottom shoes," Jadza notes after looking him up and down. "Not at all, madam. It's about choosing when to move." "So are you doubling back to increase my workload and confuse my superior officers further?" she asks, and receives a friendly smile. "Madam, don't even try to tell me that you haven't adored what has resulted so far. I imagine you had a very happy birthday. It's not like you weren't watching. I wasn't watching you. I was watching the reactions of your co-workers. That told me everything I needed to know," Sir Philip says genially. "Good work, by the way, Quartermaster Maji. If those women were that excited just listening in, then you've certainly done well." "Thank you, sir?" Modan asks in a somewhat baffled tone. "You're quite welcome, young man. Now, if you'll both excuse me, I have business to attend to. If you require anything, merely speak out loud and Private Stream will hear you and be able to accommodate," Sir Philip assures them, and Modan turns and then steps back away from the saluting child. "God damn, you're not teleporting, you're bilocating. What the hell?" Modan demands. "Sir." "Nope, sir," Private Stream answers, and Modan sighs in exasperation. "So they do toy with their own. We're a collection of different mad enclaves that also happen to be part of a singular army," Modan remarks. "That's one way to put it, sir," Private Stream says. "Bye, Sir Philip." They turn and the older man is already gone. "I was looking right at him, blinked, and he was gone." "How?" Jadza asks. "A long life with numerous adventures, ma'am," Private Stream answers. "Just how fictional are those ridiculous stories about him?" "They were underplayed, ma'am," Private Stream states before there's a beeping sound and he checks a miniature communicator. "Pardon me. I need to be going." "Sir, ma'am." Then he's gone. What little distortion in the axiom to signify his teleportation has a sensation that it was done distantly, and it certainly explains why it was barely a whisper. So are all branches really just keeping to themselves and doing weird things? Not really, but the sheer operational differences make you almost believe it, Modan notes. "Can you show me?" "Sure. Come on." "Hey, lucky man, how are you?" One of the nerds asks the moment they walk in. "Hooked up, have you?" "Hello, Cranston. Still struggling to get anyone to call you the Shadow?" Modan asks. "It's a perfect setup. I'm learning to cloud minds and levels of stealth unimaginable. I even have the last name of the proper pulp hero, but no one's willing to play ball. They're calling me M and M, and there are more stupid nicknames than smart ones," Modan notes. "Are there smart nicknames?" Cranston asks. "Fair point. So are you going to introduce me to her, or do I have to guess?" Cranston asks Modan, who turns to Jadza with a playful grin. "What do you think? Will we make him guess or let him know?" That's mean, Jadza chides him. I am Jadza Tarn. I work for the Therasite Republic. Arnold Cranston, Bomb Squad and Nerd Squad. I'm not sure which one needs the steadier nerves. Cranston introduces himself properly. So, how did you meet up with the big guy? Eminem's not known for wandering outside of his assigned duty roster all that much. How did you meet? The one you called Sir Philip. Say no more. The man's a menace and a living meme. A meme? A combination of walking punchline and easily explained thing, usually in an image. Oh, information chaff. That has meaning? A lot of it is cultural in nature and doesn't translate, Cranston notes, which can make messing with minds all the harder. Different races have different cones of vision in their eyes, and what seems like a normal series of colors to me that blend into the background flawlessly is the same as waving a flag in someone else's face. Hallucinations are a lot harder than illusions, but if you can get them right, they're much more effective. If you can get them right, you struggle even with other humans, let alone other races, Modan says before a loud buzzing sound starts up from an adjoining room. Plasma swords? Jadza asks as she recognizes the type of humming. Two of the guys are trying to create an Iaido style for beam weapons. It's not going well. Iaido? A sort of draw, use, and then withdraw style. It's hard to describe. You start with your weapon in the sheath and end with it in the same way, Cranston states. So, they're trying to activate and deactivate the weapons as part of an attack. But that doesn't work. The thermal energy disperses in a controlled leak when the blade is deactivated. It doesn't shrink or retreat into the handle. It doesn't work like that. They're trying it anyways, Modan says. Care to watch? Sure, why not? It's not like you humans are up to anything normal. Perhaps if a definition of normal could be supplied, we might be able to actually stick to it, Modan notes. Oh, please, if we had that, we'd use that in every way but its intended format. It's amazing just how out of control we are without breaking ranks, or actually breaking laws, or compromising things, Cranston states before suddenly seeming to be at the doorway to the next room. There. Did you see me move? The hallucination that I was still there should have worked. I didn't even sense anything in the axiom. Why would someone in a bomb squad need this? Jadza asks. I don't need it, but I want it. So, I'm going for it. It's not all that hard, Cranston says as he opens the door and seems to vanish again. Oh boy, here we go. I hope the idiot doesn't trip over someone this time, Modan notes. He what? He gets so caught up spinning his hallucinations that he loses track of reality himself and falls over things. It's why he's not practicing these techniques out of this area, because it's a good way to get yourself hurt or killed if you do. Is that why you practiced influencing odds with coins at first? Jadza asks as Modan leads her into the next room. Oh yes, we're not completely insane. He replies, but the fact that a man just tried to bisect another man with a swing of his plasma sword lends doubt to his words. Jadza's first impulse is to rush in to try and stop the madness, but Modan has a hand on her shoulder and they don't move further than a couple of steps past the doorway, leaving both men plenty of room. The half-formed blade continues to grow as he keeps swinging it, and Jadza has to stare again. What have they done to the weapons? They should be forming much faster? Have they been used to the point of metal fatigue? Why wouldn't the repair runes take care of that? Have they been tampered with? Why would you try and create a plasma sword combat style if you have to customize every blade you use? Time out, time out. Something's up with my sword, the would-be killer says to his shirtless opponent. It says a lot about how shocked Jadza was at the sight of the two men fighting that she didn't notice that neither man had any clothing on above the waist. Wait, you two are familiar? She asks. They've been arrested once before. Doing this in public is not recommended. Modan notes. At least they're keeping it above the belt this time. Right. Yes, I read the report. Sergeant Finley and Sergeant Stone. Public indecency for being in nothing but their undergarments in a public park. To be fair, we arrived at that park fully dressed. It's not our fault that most clothing can't stand up to a plasma weapon. One of the men regards even as he makes a slight adjustment to his blade handle and ducks under a swing. The return swing is blocked with a forearm and he continues fiddling with the extremely deadly weapon. That's apparently little more than a fancy stick to him. I think I've been swinging this thing too hard. It's not designed to be stopped, so the internals keep getting jostled bad by our sparring. Well, they're basically lightsabers, so of course they're not supposed to be stopped. This is supposed to be the final answer in melee weapons, or one of them Mr. Stone. And now you and I, as well as a heavy chunk of the Undaunted, are putting that to bed, Mr. Finley. Stone replies somewhat tartly before he and the repair rune finish fixing the blade. I think we need to go back to the blueprints with these weapons entirely if we want them to act the way we want. They're powerful, but they're beat sticks, and once you get past their danger, the weapon is lazily tossed towards them in a drifting arc, and Modan pushes up his sleeve and grabs it by the blade. Hey! She doesn't have any plasma protections. Watch it! Modan barks at them as he grabs the handle and toggles it into standby mode. Of course she does. You're right beside her. Stone says as he shoves his hands into his pockets and looks up. This is more of an engineering issue than sheer axiom nonsense. We need something with a more ergonomic grip. Its components need to be much more robust and precise if we want the speed and endurance we're looking for. The basic modal is just that, basic. We're going to need to find some way to refine the process to a mirror shine before it's anywhere close to what we want. At the longest, it takes 2 seconds for a plasma blade to ignite or dissipate. Jadza reminds the room. And in the middle of a skirmish, especially an accelerated one with axiom-enhanced speed, 2 seconds is twice the length of the actual fight. So in conclusion, like all weapons, weapon systems, and tools of destruction, once you have a proper counter and understand the intricacies, there's very little actually intimidating about a plasma sword. Modan states in a patronizing tone. Hey, you don't need to put it that way, they're still cool. Yes, they can do double duty toasting your toast as you slice it, or triple when acting as a nightlight. Modan's tone has gone from patronizing to outright mocking. Don't forget a rave stick M&M. Finley mocks as he deactivates his bright yellow beam weapon. Now, who's your honey there? I didn't think you the type to go cruising for a good time. First, put a shirt on, you cretin. No flashing my girl, Modan orders. Oh, I don't mind. Jadza says a little too fast, and the slight amount of tension is released as Finley and Stone laugh in response. Both men grab nearby hoodies and in seconds are covered up. Stone then catches the plasma sword handle tossed at him by Modan and grins. Thank you for the confidence boost, ma'am. I'm Sergeant Stone, and my associate there is Sergeant Finley. We're not really nerd squad, but a lot of our interests are close enough that we spend some time here. You are... I am Jadza Tarn of the Therasite Republic. When I was on a mission for my people, I was intercepted by the one you call Sir Philip. Say no more, ma'am. If he's had a pass at you and you're in the ship, then you're allowed just about anywhere without question. Is he really that well regarded? Jadza asks incredulously. Yes. Every single man in the room answers, including Private Stream, who just stuck his head in from the far door.